Yo, what's up with y'all boys and girls, man? Hey, it's Jay Briggs here, continuing to cook up this NBA action, man. Y'all know we do. We're on the jam session. We cook up every single game, every single day, man. Today, we got all 30 teams in action, 15 games to break down, and y'all know the drill, man. We here to smash it per usual. It hasn't been the best start up to the season for me. I always call a spade a spade. Last night, I dropped another NBA player of the day. I tried to give the Pelicans their chance and opportunity to come off the do not bet list early in this season, going up against another team that was on the do not bet list in the Atlanta Hawks. And well, some injury news didn't break our way as the day progressed. Zion ended up missing the game, and the Hawks escaped. What a nice road win. We'll talk about both the Pelicans and the Hawks later on in today's show. Money Making Monday, ladies and gentlemen. New week, new goals, new opportunities, man. Let's start this week off on the right foot. Let's do what we do. Let's lock in, man. Jay, you got to lock in. I know that's what y'all been telling me. I've been telling myself as well, and I'm here. I'm showing up. We're going to do what we're doing. We're going to find our rhythm. Hey, we ain't new to this. We true to this. Let's do what we do, and let's kick the crap out of the NBA, man. I appreciate each and every one of you that continue to tune in and watch this video. Money Making Monday, of course, with 30 teams in action, 15 games. Of course, I got premium plays for you, ladies and gentlemen, over at the site. Let's do what we do, man. Let's make some money today. Let's kick the crap out of the books. Let's start this week off on the right foot. And without further ado, let's hop right into tonight's NBA action. First game of the day. Let's do it. We're in Cleveland, where the Cavs are laying 7.5 points on the Milwaukee Bucks. Total 229.5. Look, we just saw this game the other day. Cleveland got the outright win in Milwaukee. Donovan Mitchell. Big bucket Donovan Mitchell. Milwaukee, we took them in that game. We tried to go razor super sharp, and they couldn't pull it off, man, and earn themselves and their way onto the do not bet list. This is a quick revenge spot. We love quick revenge here on the jam session. Y'all know here on the gym session, we love betting spots and situations. And a quick revenge is one of our favorite spots and situations. But there's something that supersedes all spots and situations, and that's the do not bet list. And that's exactly where Milwaukee finds themselves. They're showing me the same signs and tendencies from a season ago, where they were one of the worst ATS teams in the league. I will be honest, 7.5 is a pretty big number, but I also think it's telling. The Cavs right now are just hooping. Let's just call a spade a spade. Let's stop doubting Cleveland and let's just trust our eyes. Straight up, undefeated. Against the number, undefeated. That does have them a little overrated and overvalued, but Milwaukee's on the do not bet list, man. We know what's up with them. I think by trade deadline, Damian Lillard probably will have asked for a trade. I highly doubt Giannis is going to re-sign in the offseason. I'm not liking the vibes, chemistry, and the way things are looking in Milwaukee. On the other side, man, a team that looked broken last season, like their chemistry was rocked a bit in Cleveland, acquired a new head coach, man, and things are looking sunny side up in Cleveland, man. And I don't want to fade them. I don't. So we just saw them get Milwaukee in Milwaukee the other day. I know it's a quick revenge spot, but the do not bet list supersedes that, and that's exactly where Milwaukee finds themselves. They not really and truly should have already been there. Give me Cleveland, land the points here in our first game of the day. Let's keep it rolling. Next game up, we're in Washington, where the Washington Wizards have the Golden State Warriors rolling, and Warriors are 10.5-point road favorites in this one. There's some news looming over this basketball game. Stephen Curry is game time decision. The Golden State Warriors have hooped really well without him. Here recently, though, man, they went into Houston and, hey, took them boys behind the woodshed in that first half. Houston did fight their way all the way back, but Golden State was able to keep them at bay in overtime and pull that one out. And they beat up on New Orleans twice in Golden State. No Stephen Curry. Again, like I said, he is game time decision today. I will say keep an eye on that. For the Washington Wizards, they have some injuries as well. Marvin Bagley is game time decision. Kyle Kuzma and Malcolm Brogdon are still out. Here's my assumption of this game. I want to bet Washington here. Washington is not nearly as bad right now as I think public perception of them is. I think a lot of people still remember Washington from the end of last season when they were essentially tanking. Here early in the season, that's not the case. Bad teams don't know they're bad yet, and bad teams are not tanking. And I think the Warriors are starting to become a little overrated and overvalued. They're a good team, but I don't know if they're good enough to warrant laying 10.5 on the road, is what I'm saying. I know they were an amazing road team ATS-wise a season ago, but now possibly bringing a superstar back into the fold, even though the role players have been playing well, it's just, how you feel me? I'm leaning towards Washington in this basketball game. It's not something I'm overly in love with. We did see them get blown out in back-to-back home games, 122 and 102 by the Celtics and 135 and 116 by the Cavs. But I would say right now those two teams have shown that they're the best in the Eastern Conference. The Warriors, great start to their season, but I think they're a little overrated, a little overvalued. I don't know how great they are, how good they are. The book is still out on them 6 games into the season. And laying 10.5 with them on the road, even on a bad Wizards team, is something right now I just don't think is a great idea. So, for me personally, give me the Washington Wizards plus the points here in this one. Let's keep it rolling. We're in Detroit, where the Pistons are 7.5-point dogs with the Los Angeles Lakers rolling into town. Total 226.5. Pistons on the back end of a back-to-back with travel. They got an outright win yesterday in Brooklyn. Shout out to them boys. Now they travel back home with the Lakers rolling in. Tough game. I'm going to lean towards the Pistons plus the points in this one. I think the back door may be wide open for the Pistons in this game, kind of like how it was for the Raptors in that last one. I know a lot of y'all are mad at the Lakers for not covering in that game against the Raptors, the last one they played. They had a tremendous lead early in that game. They were taking the Raptors behind the woodshed, putting belt to ass. And all of a sudden you looked up, and the Raptors came all the way back and covered that point spread. And I think something similar is on deck here for the Pistons. Bad teams don't know they're bad yet, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to keep saying it. Bad teams are not tanking yet. So Lakers are definitely the head and shoulders a better basketball team. I love the Lakers. I told you guys I have them going to the Western Conference Finals this season. I love the addition of J.J. Redick. Of course, LeBron is my GOAT. But that doesn't mean we go and lay 7.5 points with them on the road against an up-and-coming Pistons team who's playing better, who's playing improved, who has a lot of young talent that the back-to-back may not affect like it would affect other teams. So I just think that there's a lot of value here on the Pistons in a game like this. Wouldn't be surprised if the Lakers got in, got out, got the win style game, kind of like what we seen from them in Toronto. So not rushing to lay 7.5 points on the road with the Lakers. Do think they're the better team. Do think they should win the basketball game. But I'll grab the points in this one with the Detroit Pistons. Let's keep it rolling, ladies and gentlemen. Next game up, we're in Atlanta, where the Hawks are 10.5-point home dogs with the defending champs, the Boston Celtics, rolling in. Look, we're on the Celtics, short, sweet, simple. We're just referring to the do not bet list. The number one team on the do not bet list is the Atlanta Hawks. They did get a win yesterday. Shout out to them. But it was against another team on the do not bet list, so we won't look too much into that. And they're on the back end of a back-to-back with travel, now playing the defending champs, who, if you know anything about the Celtics, they create fake storylines. They like to piss themselves off and look for motivation in any little thing, and I think that is one of these style games. The Celtics have dominated Atlanta. When I went and looked at the recent history between the two teams, Celtics have won, I believe, 7 of the last 9 meetings, but the Hawks won the last 2 meetings a season ago. The Hawks won back-to-back back in March. Both games were in Atlanta. On the 25th, they won 120-118, and then 3 days later, they won 123-122. I think the Celtics come in here, remember that, and put belt to ass. It's a terrible spot and situation for the Hawks already on the back end of a back-to-back with travel. They were terrible in this situation a season ago. They were terrible in basically every situation a season ago, but I think the Celtics come in here and just whoop these boys is how I see this game playing out. Again, we're referring to the do not bet list in that one. In this one, let's talk about the injury report. Jaylen Brown will not play. Of course, Porzingis is still out. Sam Hauser, game time decision for the Celtics. For Atlanta, Okonwu, game time decision. Zeller, game time decision. DeAndre Hunter, game time decision. Keep an eye out on that. But I think this is a game Celtics fake motivate themselves to come out and beat up on a bad Atlanta team. So that's just how I see it. Won't overcomplicate it. I'll lay the points here with the defending champs, and we're going to fade at all costs the number one team on the do not bet list, the Atlanta Hawks. Let's keep it rolling. We're in Brooklyn, where the Nets are taking on the Memphis Grizzlies. Grizzlies, 5.5 point road favorites in this one. Look, we've already seen these two teams match up once this season. The Nets went into Memphis and busted them up. 119-106 was the final score in that game. But we also just saw the Nets get taken behind the woodshed at home by a bad Detroit Pistons team just yesterday. So now the Nets are on a back end of a back-to-back. No travel, but they are on a back end of a back-to-back with the Grizzlies coming in, who have looked good in back-to-back games. I like what I saw from them at home at the crib against Milwaukee, and then they handled their business on the road against the Philadelphia 76ers. I'm on the Brooklyn Nets, though, plus the 5.5, and I'm probably going to sprinkle some on the money line. The Nets games, I'm just realizing they're not going to make sense this season. They're going to lose to bad teams, and then they're going to play the good teams tough and competitive and possibly win them outright. That's just who the Nets are going to be. They're going to be that weird anomaly, don't follow systems style team. At least that's what they've been to start this season. So I think when I look at this game from a matchup perspective, I think that the Nets can do enough offensively to keep this game competitive, if not win it outright. I think that the Grizzlies are improving. I like what I'm seeing from Memphis. Memphis is the better basketball team. Memphis should win this basketball game. But that doesn't warrant me laying 5.5 on the road. This game's probably going to come right down to the wire. Nets at home, when you take out that game yesterday, have been tough, man. They've been tough, and I think they continue to be tough. So just to play on the spot, to play on the situation, trying to figure out who the Nets are. I've been telling you I don't have a firm grasp on Brooklyn. We faded them yesterday, and I'm going to jump on them today. Grizzlies are the better basketball team, but laying points with this team on the road, I don't feel comfortable with quite yet. I know they just beat up on the Sixers on the road in their last one, but I think this game's going to be tight. I think this game's going to be competitive, and I think Brooklyn has a legitimate shot to win it outright. Give me the Nets plus the points here in this one. Let's keep it rolling. We're in South Beach, Miami, where the Heat are 1.5 point home favorites with the Sacramento Kings rolling in. I think this is a legitimate 50-50 game. And in that style game, I just want to attack plus money. I'm on the Sacramento Kings outright on the money line. Man for man, player for player, roster for roster, I think the Sacramento Kings have the more talent on their team. I can trust the Sacramento Kings as a short road dog. They've shown us over the last couple seasons that's their spot, that's their situation. The Miami Heat, short home favorite. We know that's not really their spot, not their situation. I think we're going to learn a lot about these two teams. I don't think we know a lot about them right now currently. The reason I say that is let's look at their 3 wins. The 3 wins for Miami this season: the Washington Wizards, the Detroit Pistons, and the Charlotte Hornets. 3 of the worst 5 teams in the league, in my opinion. The 3 wins for the Kings: the Portland Trail Blazers, the Utah Jazz, the Atlanta Hawks, the other 3 worst teams in the league. So nothing that we can really hang our hat on with these two teams. Again, I think it's a legitimate 50-50 style game. And in a 50-50 style game like this one, I just want to attack the plus money with the team that has shown us over the last couple seasons they will show up as a short road dog. And just from a pure roster perspective, I think have the more talent. Give me the Kings. Money line here in this one. Let's keep it rolling. Next game up, we're in Houston, where the Rockets are home dogs with the New York Knicks rolling in. Knicks laying 3.5 here in this one. Houston, we have a problem. I think the Knicks are overrated and overvalued. I'm on the Houston Rockets outright on the money line and plus a 3.5 here in this game. Controversial take. I don't think the Knicks are better than the Rockets. I think if the Rockets were in the East, they will be just as good and just as much of a threat as the New York Knicks. From a pure talent perspective, man for man, player for player, roster for roster, I think these two teams are pretty much a wash. I think people forget that the conferences are not created equal. The West is by far better than the East, and the Knicks are just fortunate to be in the East. I've seen nothing to suggest that the Knicks should be 3.5 point favorites over the Rockets in this basketball game. I'm sorry. I know that the Rockets lost their last game. They got taken behind the woodshed early in that one by the Golden State Warriors. I like what I saw from them, though, in that second half. Didn't like what I saw in overtime, but second half fighting all the way back, I did like what I saw. And I like what I saw from the Rockets the game before that one in Dallas, where they beat my favorite team, the Dallas Mavericks. Need I remind you, man, we made a lot of money betting Houston in Houston a season ago. They were the second best home team in the NBA a season ago. 27-13-1 at home at the crib. covered at a 68% clip at home. I'm on the Rockets in this one. I think the Knicks are overrated and overvalued. Good team. Gonna do good things this season, going far in the playoffs this season in the East. But I'm telling y'all right now, I firmly believe if the Rockets were in the East, they would be the Knicks. Like, from a talent perspective, there's no gap here, in my opinion. There's none. The only difference between these two teams is one is in the East and one is in the much tougher conference in the West. Give me the Rockets, man. Perception is off in this one, and we trust the Rockets at home at the crib. Coming off a loss, I expect these boys to be locked in. I'm going to grab the points with Houston and sprinkle a lot on the money line. Let's keep it rolling. Next game up, we're in Minnesota, where the Timberwolves are 9.5-point home favorites over the Charlotte Hornets. Total 226.5. Look, we do call the Minnesota Timberwolves the house of disappointment. We hate laying extended numbers with the Timberwolves here on the Jam Session. And as I've told y'all a lot early in this season, I plan on betting Charlotte quite a bit this season. I like what I'm seeing from Charlotte. But just looking at this specific game, this specific spot, this specific situation, if there was ever a time I was going to lay an extended number with Minnesota, it would be here. Following a bad loss to a Spurs team where tempers were flaring, this is a lock-in spot for them at home, at the crib, against a team they are head and shoulders better than. Tough scheduling for the Charlotte Hornets, man. Back-to-back games against the Celtics, now having to go on the road playing a pissed-off Minnesota team who's one of the best teams in the league following a loss. Straight up-wise, ATS, they're a little bit over 50%. I think this is just the spot for the Timberwolves. If there was ever a situation where I think, yeah, Timberwolves going to put belt to ass, it would be a game like this one. So give me Minnesota. Won't overcomplicate it. Just a bad spot and situation for the Hornets. We'll bet them a ton this season, just not tonight. I'll lay it here with Minnesota in this one. Next game up, we got two of our favorite money-making teams, man. We got the Orlando Magic out on the road facing the Oklahoma City Thunder Buddies. Thunder Buddies laying 12.5 points here in this one. Short, sweet, simple. We're going to lay the 12.5 with the Thunder Buddies. It's a bad spot and situation for the Orlando Magic on a back end of a back-to-back with travel, following a blowout loss, missing their best player, their best offensive weapon, going up against a tremendous ATS team and the number one seed in the West from a season ago. It's just a bad spot for the Magic, in my opinion. The Thunder Buddies have been a money-making machine again this year, 5-1 against the numbers, 6-0 straight up. They're one non-cover this season. They were laying 12.5 on the Spurs. They won the game by 12. I don't have a clear and concise reason to fade Oklahoma City here, so I will not. We love the Thunder Buddies here on this program. Thunder Buddies for life. As we talked about yesterday with the Magic, we will still be able to bet the Magic this season through this drought without Boncaro. But against the good teams, the really, really good teams, the offensive juggernauts, the Dallases, the Oklahoma Cities, the Oklahoma Cities of the world, I don't think they have enough offensive firepower to contend with those style teams. And that's where they're going to hurt and lack. Defense can only get you so far in this league. Everybody knows the NBA is an offensive league, and the Magic just don't have the offensive firepower right now currently to hang with the best. So Thunder Buddies for life, won't overcomplicate it. I'll lay the points with these boys at home at the crib. Let's keep it rolling. Next game up, we're in New Orleans, where the Pelicans are 2.5-point home favorites over the Portland Trail Blazers. Short, sweet, simple. We're just going to refer to the do not bet list in this one. We're taking the Blazers plus the points and outright on the money line. It's a bad spot and situation for the Pelicans on the back end of a back-to-back. No travel, but still they are on the back end of a back-to-back. They got beat up yesterday by another team on the do not bet list in the Atlanta Hawks. They were our top play yesterday, unfortunately. We tried to give them the chance and opportunity to come off the list, and they just spit in our face. Zion got listed out of nowhere. And, they didn't show up at home, and they just continue to show us why they have already earned their way onto the do not bet list. Also, we've already seen these two teams play not once but twice this season. The first one, Pelicans did win. Super competitive game, though. 105-103 up in Portland. And then in the quick revenge spot, the Blazers beat them outright. Low-key took them behind the woodshed. Final score in the second meeting was 125-103. So I've already seen what I needed to see between these two teams. The Blazers can beat the Pelicans outright. What were the books supposed to do? List the Blazers as a favorite in this game? They couldn't do that, but I do think the line is very telling. The Blazers, from a pure roster talent perspective, are one of the worst teams in the league, but only getting plus 115 in New Orleans is very glaring. The injury report for the New Orleans Pelicans is a mile long. Zion game time decision in this one again. Herbert Jones out. CJ McCollum out. Trey Murphy, DeJounte Murray out. Not liking what I'm seeing from the banged up, injury riddled Pelicans. We've already seen the Blazers get them outright and play them tough in 2 meetings this season. I think we're looking at the exact same thing here in this one tonight. We're just going to refer to the do not bet list. We're going to fade the New Orleans Pelicans. Give me the Blazers here in this one. Let's keep it rolling. Next game up. We're in my hometown where my favorite team, the Dallas Mavericks, are laying 5.5 on the Indiana Pacers. Total 237.5. My Mavs on the back end of a back-to-back no travel. They did beat up on the Orlando Magic yesterday. The Magic just didn't have the offensive firepower to hang with an offensive juggernaut like the Dallas Mavericks. The Indiana Pacers do, though. Remember, the Pacers broke all type of offensive records last season. The Pacers also won both meetings over my Dallas Mavericks last season. 137-120 in Dallas and 133-111 in Indiana. Remember, the Pacers also have former Mavs head coach Rick Carlisle. The Pacers are just a bad matchup for my Mavs. Let's just call a spade a spade. And Mavs laying points at home at the crib is not their spot. They do win and cover at home sometimes, but it's basically 50-50. On the road, laying points with the Mavs is where we absolutely love them, where we made a fortune last season. At home, it get dicey. And I think on the back end of a back-to-back in a game against the Pacers who has their number, who can go with them offensively, it's just a bad spot and situation for my Mavs. I like the Indiana Pacers plus the points in this one. Dallas probably wins it, probably gets their double revenge from a season ago. But laying points with this team in this situation, I don't want to do. I know Luka looked like a monster yesterday, and y'all know me. Personally, I don't want to go to the window with this, but I'm here to tell y'all what I think is the right and proper play. And I think the right and proper play in this game is the Indiana Pacers plus the points. Let's keep it rolling. Next game up, we had the Denver, where the Denver Chicken Nuggets are 9.5-point home favorites over the Toronto Raptors. Hey, short, sweet, simple. I'm on the Nuggets. I'm laying the points with them. They go stupid, dummy, crazy at home, at the crib. Created it. I mean it. I trust them. We're going to lay it. I'm not going to overcomplicate this one. I know we've seen these two teams match up once already this season, and the Raptors did compete, kept it extremely competitive, forced overtime at home, at the crib, but we know what's up with Denver. The road is not really where they play their best basketball. At home is. They lost their first 2 games at home to start their season, was really concerning, but they did bounce back their last game at home and absolutely kicked the crap out of the Utah Jazz. Beltaz took them behind the woodshed, and I think something similar is on deck tonight. Injury report-wise, Jamal Murray is out, and Aaron Gordon is game-time decision. But I think this is a Jokic-style game. The injury report for the Raptors is ugly as well. Quickly, game-time decision. Of course, Scotty Barnes still out. Kelly Olynyk out. Bruce Brown still out. Raptors have been competitive in some of their games, and I think that's who they're going to be all season long. But in a spot like this, going up against the Nuggets, who I still think are head and shoulders a better basketball team, at home, at the crib, where we trust them, I expect Denver to whoop them, take them behind the shed, put belt to ass, and win this game comfortably. Not overcomplicating it, man. Give me Denver. We trust them at home, at the crib. We'll lay the points with them here in this one. Let's keep it rolling. Next game up, we're in Phoenix, where the Suns are 7.5-point home favorites over the Philadelphia 76ers. Hey, the Sixers could be getting one of their all-stars back today, making his 76ers debut in Paul George. He's listed as game-time decision tonight. He did practice and has been practicing, so there's a good chance he may play tonight. I'm going to just call a spade a spade. I don't like this game. And this is, of all 15 games tonight, probably my least favorite, or definitely one of my least favorite. I will not put any money on this game. But y'all know here on the Jam Session, I cook up every single game, every single day. I give a pick in every single game, every single day. Forced to pick this game, I would lean towards the Phoenix Suns laying the points in this one. I have to see the Sixers before I want to put money on them. The Suns laying 7.5 with them does make my stomach hurt, and that's why I will not bet this game. I'm looking at the Suns season to start. They are 5-1, solid start to their season, but they haven't been winning by margin. Their wins haven't been dominant. Let's go through them. They beat the Blazers at home at the crib, 6-point win. Beat the Clippers out on the road, 6-point win. Beat the Lakers at home at the crib, 4-point win. Their one lone dominant win was, of course, against my favorite team, their rival, the Mavs. They had to take some frustration out on them, though. Final score 114-102. And then they barely beat the Clippers out on the road, first game of the season as well. So laying extended numbers with the Suns is usually not a great place to be. It's not. The Suns are not a cover team. They're usually overrated and overvalued. That's why I'm not rushing to the window to bet this game. Again, I do think they are the better team. They should win the game, and forced to pick this game, I would lay the points with Phoenix. I just don't think it's a premium, and we have an edge style game, if you follow me. So small lean on Phoenix, not a game I'm totally in love with, but they should win the game, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if they did win the game by 9, 10, 11 points when it's all said and done. Last game of the night, we're in LA, where the Clippers are looking for their first home win in their new arena. I know y'all didn't go spend $1 billion for a new arena and still can't win at home. My goodness, man, the Clippers. Y'all know what I want to say. I want to continue to say, fuck the Clippers, respectfully. But I'm going to take them one more time, bro. I'm going to take the Clippers one final time. I'm going to lay the 4.5. Hey, if they lose tonight, we have a new member on the Do Not Bet list. I swear to God. I'm not trying to add all these teams to the Do Not Bet list 2 weeks into the season. But a lot of these teams are already showing us the same signs, tendencies, and that they were a season ago. And why they found themselves on the Do Not Bet list. And why we made a lot of money fading these teams that are on these lists. I'm not just making the list for no reason. I'm a veteran. We know these guys. We know what the hell they got going on. So for the Clippers, man, I tried to be objective coming into the season. I said I wasn't going to say fuck the Clippers. I said, they're a different team. They're turning a new leaf. Man, it took a couple games to throw that shit out the window. Here's the game right here, Clippers. Y'all spent $1 billion on a new arena and have yet to win at home. If y'all can't beat the goddamn San Antonio trash-ass overrated Spurs tonight, then y'all deserve to be on the Do Not Bet list. You deserve it. You deserve it. James Harden, you better come out hooping tonight. I'm on the Clippers. I'm laying the points with them. Think it's the spot. Think it's the situation. They have to get a home win at some point, right? Right? Look, don't kill me. No props on this show right now today. We'll be back to regular scheduled programming throughout the week. But what I will do, I will be live today. We're going to do a jam session live later on today. 3 to 4 Central right here, same YouTube channel. And there, you guys can ask me all the prop questions that your heart desires. I'll try to see if anybody wants to pop on with me later so it's not just me. But I will go live for y'all, ladies and gentlemen, later on today. And there, we will talk props. So make sure you got your post notifications on because I will be live later on today, 3 to 4 Central, NBA Jam Session, live edition, talking some props. And we'll talk about any injury information that came out throughout the day and things of that nature. With all 30 teams in action, 15 games to break down, it was a lot to look at early in the morning. But as the day progresses, I'll have more time to look at and deep dive some props. And I'll have a handful ready for y'all later on today on the live show. So 3 to 4 Central, turn your post notifications on. Jam Session Live, baby. We doing it. Be there or be square. And that's going to conclude this episode of my NBA Jam Session. As always, I appreciate each and every one of you that continue to tune in and watch this video. Money Making Monday, ladies and gentlemen. All 30 teams are in action, and we just cooked up all 15 games on the card. Hopefully we smash it per usual. No NBA tomorrow, man. It's going to be weird. No NBA tomorrow. But then on Wednesday, we're right back. All 30 teams back in action. 15 more games to break down. So I'll see y'all maybe tomorrow night. I'm going to be twiddling my thumbs tomorrow with nothing to do. So I might get the jam session out early. Be on the lookout for that. Of course, tonight, I got premium plays for you, ladies and gentlemen, over at the site. Money Making Monday. New week, new goals, new opportunities. Man, let's do what we do. Let's get back on track, man. Let's start to kick the crap out of the books. If you're rocking with me, rock with me, man. I appreciate y'all more than y'all know. It's been your guy, Jay Briggs, man. I'm out of here. Peace.